Hello and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me as always is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Wow. Hi, Delilah. That was lovely.
Welcome to
That's
NPR.
my NPR voice.
Oh, okay.
I've been listening to a lot of NPR this week. It's been nice.
I'm Lady Ira Glass, and this is
Lady Ira Glass.
Ira Glass.
Oh, what would that look like? Hold on.
I don't know. That's scary. My mental image is not good at that.
For that shit now. You just type that into Google and it shows you what it looks like now.
I think the Lenza people are on top of that, right?
Yeah.
They've got it going. Have you guys done that Lenza shit yet?
Did you? What? Because Beth asked me if you had done that. She was looking at your profile pic and she's like, I think that's a... She didn't know what it was called, but...
You are correct, B. Yes, a lot of people have been asking me, and some of them I've been telling, no, I painted it myself. It's great.
What is people. What is I've been real sick the last few days. What is Lenza? What the hell is Lenza?
Do you remember that app from a couple years ago where you could post a picture of yourself and then you could change your photo to be a bunch of different art types, whether it was Picasso or anyway, it's the same company that did that. And I haven't used it yet, but I read an article about how sexist it is, so I guess I'm an expert now. Well, you'll have to back me up on this.
A lot of my fucking friends from college art school are very upset with me, and I'm like, oh, whatever, get over it.
Well, hold on. What is this outrage? What is this? I didn't.
Well, they stole a bunch of artwork. Apparently to recreate these images for you. So like you download the app, you submit at least like 11 plus selfies, and then they give you a plethora, depending upon how much money you give them, of created art. Like you could be an anime person, you could be like fantasy, and like it's the list goes on and on.
This is such a good segue into something I definitely want to talk about. So
I have a question real fast. Can you pick what kind of art style you like?
I mean, I think you can, because a lot of guys that were doing it put themselves in like astronaut suits, and I was like, well, fucking of course. Yeah, exactly. Both of you are like, well, duh. Yeah, of course, I would do that.
Scuba dive outfit? Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but a lot of the women that are, like these recreated images, all like, I would say 70% of mine look like I wasn't wearing clothes. Like, I mean, literally, it's like, whoa, I am like a naked alien in 80% of them. Yeah, it's weird.
That's very interesting. That's basically what I read. That they said that it was. Yeah. No,
I also look slightly Asian, and I was like, yeah, it is pretty misogynistic and racist. So this is great.
I would have a hard time. You're supposed to send them at least 10 selfies, and I don't think I have 10 selfies in 7+ years of photos.
You definitely do. Remember when you took all those pictures of you shaving your beard and then all of the different mustaches you were wearing until it was completely bare?
I think that was one selfie, though, right?
Like, it was like 3.
It was like 5.
It was like.
Was it 3? Maybe what?
I felt like it was.
I did the chops. I did the thing, and then I did the the porn stash. Yeah, you would send all those. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I would send all those.
I don't know what.
In fact, I was gonna surprise you guys and just do it, but then I was like, I literally had like 2 for Smith and 3 for Tyson from your Facebook, and I was like, I'm done. That was the longest 10 minutes of my life.
Over the course of 22 years, or whatever the hell. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't. That sounds weird. It sounds weird to me. Like I don't know. That's just like that seems weird to me. That
it's just it's the new thing. It's kind of like that that art thing where you could type in 2 things and see what kind of art was generated.
Oh yeah, like the AI. I forget what it's even called. I don't know.
I don't think any digital artists are going to get run out of the business.
Sure, that's why I'm like, don't get your panties in a bunch.
No,
like.
I have seen some of that where they're like, it's gonna, because apparently there was like somebody released a children's book that had like exclusively AI generated art, and like I didn't look at it. I mean, it might be absolute shit, but like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of bad children's, and fair enough. Like, I think, if you can get away with it, it's only like order for so. I mean, I don't know how. I haven't looked into it. I don't know how AI like this image creation stuff. I don't know how it's working. Like if it's really, if it's just compositing different images and how it's actually, I don't know. Do either of you guys know how it
It's a
or have looked
composite of
into.
some sort, and then I think
Yeah.
they run an algorithm against a set of existing art. Is that right? Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
But a
I
lot
don't.
of the art that they're recreating these images from is like copyrighted and things. So that's why they're saying it's
Okay.
stolen. And
Because
so,
it's the style that
right.
is, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you're like, I guess if you're, if you can specifically attribute it to, if you can type in someone's certain name and it pop, I don't know though, because it's like, it's
It's
But
a
a
it's not
very
like
variation
that is where art
on.
is headed. Like we're done with, painting and drawing. Like
Oh
let's just
no,
let AI take care of it.
no,
Like
no,
I
of
think
course
that's,
not. Oh
what
yeah,
is
no.
getting a lot of people riled up.
Oh yeah, and I
And
don't
that's
think
just
we're
not the
anywhere.
case.
I don't think we're anywhere near there. I
Yeah,
don't.
No.
I would equate that to like people saying like, oh, the autoplay on the Casio keyboard's going to take over music. That's not going to happen.
That's a very good analogy.
That is very good,
That is
Tyson.
a very good
Yeah.
analogy. Yes.
People are like,
Yes.
fuck the Rolling Stones. I'm just going to go see
Yes.
that keyboard play
Yes.
itself
Yes.
for
The
an hour
people
and a
will
half.
stop. The people will stop at Camptown races, and they will be good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's neat. Like that stuff's neat, but yeah, I don't know. Like the people is too willingly give up their like. I'll send you 12 pictures of myself right now and see what you can do with it. I mean, and when we don't think about it, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
sound like old man freaking, I don't know.
No, I understand that. I should probably be more worried about it, but I was also like, hey, I got $5 to burn and it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning,
right.
whatever.
It looks.
Still
I
in
will look
bed.
it up because I'm sure I'll probably look it up and go, "Oh, that's pretty
I
fucking
might.
cool."
I mean, I'm not above trying it. I just was like,
I would love
Yeah.
to see what y'all come up
So you
with.
well,
can't
Honestly,
actually like
I won't do an astronaut. I'll
choose
do
your
that.
own
oh, you
style.
should, Tice.
Why?
I mean, I think you can, but I chose the package that gives you like 100 images, but they still
Oh,
they chose the style.
Mm,
So I didn't have. I mean,
okay.
I guess if I paid $10, I probably would have been able to. But
I don't know. $10 is a lot for me. But again, one time I did
yeah,
Photoshop myself in a different women's hairstyle. I spent a whole day
that you
doing
did,
that.
and that was worth
I don't
every
care
cent.
what that cost. It was worth
Yeah,
That was
every.
free, but that was back in the old days, the
Wow,
the good
bubble
old
days.
that
days.
was high tech
Yeah, it
back
really
Yeah.
then.
was.
Like,
It
God, we
really was.
got to blow that up into a poster. I know every time we talk about it, I talk about it, but fuck,
We do.
I don't know how to
it's
do that.
genius.
I've
You
always
just
wanted to
need to
blow.
release an album with that as your
Well,
cover
you
art
know
at
what?
some
For a
point.
long time,
Yeah, for real.
I think I'm sure I've told you guys this, but I had a friend that did uh, Matt. You guys know him, Matt Hornicky. Uh,
Hmm?
Yeah.
for a long time, he used to do all those photos. He would travel around the country and take photos of sororities and fraternities, send the pictures, and work with a company that would turn them into those big framed pictures that they would hang in the sororities,
Oh,
fraternities,
right.
like
Oh yeah.
all the people that year.
Yeah.
So we figured out that with his help and Renee's help and me sort of giving them that idea, I found a lady who for like $400 she would put up my own sorority of the ugliest Tysons, but everyone would be in the sorority. And I was like, but it's not real. And she was like, I was like, she's like, but who's it for? And I'm like, it's for me. And finally she was like, yeah, I don't care. We can do that.
So
And
confused.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so she was just fine, but she was like, but the size of my images were about a third big enough to the point where they needed to be to blow up and do it.
Mm.
So it is one of my
Uh,
long-term goals to figure out how to blow up those individual images and make one of those sorority of Tyson, things to hang in my office one day. So
Tice, if
well,
you have a day to kill next time you're back in Waukene, go to Hayes, go to Casual Graphics, knock on the door, say, "Hey, Chris, I'd like to talk to you about a project." I guarantee 7 hours later, Chris Glassman will give you what you want.
okay.
But you're going to have to hear him talk you through the process,
Oh, well,
which
okay.
I'm sorry about.
All
That's
right.
your penance for
And
wanting.
it's fine. I got a
I
couple things on my list, so yeah, okay.
I want to throw my
Yeah.
support behind this project, so I'll kick in some. I
I
really do.
do too.
I kind of want to see
Honestly
this
think it'd be worth
materialize.
it. I would
Yeah.
sacrifice myself. Like if you needed me to like tap me in, I'll throw my ears over to him for a couple hours. Go have lunch, have a few beers, come back, save me. We'll make it
Yeah.
work, but
I,
it would be worth it.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. It is. I want like two more things. Like I want a Crow T robot puppet, and I want this thing. And then I think I'm good. I think I can die. Just to get a coat or a new pair of shoes occasionally, and I'll be good.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think I sidetracked this whole thing. Anyway, but yeah, sorry. I'm in the
Oh man.
basement tonight, everybody, if you can see me, because I have my grandchildren here, and
Yay.
they are going to be home and they're going to need to go to sleep. So, and
How
sometimes
old are the grandkids now, Tice?
they are 6 and 3.
Oh my god.
Kaylee is 6 and Theo is 3. I have a cute story. You want to hear it real fast?
Yeah.
I was so they're very excited because we put this TV down. I finally put a TV in the basement, and the first day Kaylee whispers in my ear, she goes, "Mario Kart," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that. That's fine."
Uh-huh.
So the TV gets mounted. I get the Wii, Nintendo Wii. No, I don't. Yeah, the Wii U. That's what I have. Put the game on. The kids sit down. They've got controllers they don't recognize because they only played on the Switch because the Switch is the only thing that's been around since they've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
alive, right?
Yeah.
And Theo, who is 3, has a complete meltdown because the character he wants to play is Bowser, but the
Mhm.
Bowser I have is not the right color. And the reason I don't
Oh
have the right
shit.
color is because I haven't unlocked the other because I haven't played the game enough. I haven't unlocked the other drivers. And
Uh-huh.
let me tell you about this eye roll that the 6-year-old gave me. I mean, it was. She looked at me and she goes, "Well, you haven't played them enough." And then she gave me 2 double eye rolls, like big ass eye rolls. And I
Oh.
was like,
Oh
and it wasn't ironic at all. And
shit.
I was like, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not playing enough Wii. I'm sorry. And so anyway, they were playing, and Theo is 3, and I guess they set up the Wii at his house so he just can't get off the track. You can set it up somehow so you just can't. But that's not how mine works. And so he has no motor skills whatsoever. So he was just miserable the whole time. He couldn't get the turn. He kept going backwards, and he literally had a meltdown because he wouldn't even play because he couldn't get the right Bowser. So we had to get mom down here to talk to him and be like, it's okay. Anyway, so the point of all that is to say that he doesn't have the manual dexterity to play video games. So later, the next day, he came downstairs with me, and we were playing with the Rock'em Sock'em robots and electric car and just doing all kinds of
Uh-huh.
stuff. And I said, "Do you want to watch me play a Mario game?" And he goes, "I want
Uh-huh.
to play with you." And I said, "Okay." So I put in a game that I was pretty sure that he couldn't kill himself. Well, he kills himself like 3 times in the first minute, you know. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I'm wrong about this." But uh, so I'm trying to play with him, but he's watched a lot of Mario games. So he knows the names of the characters. He knows that if you go in a pipe, it takes you to a different room. It keeps you
Uh-huh.
moving. He knows how all this stuff works, right?
Right.
So after a while, he figures out that he just can't. He doesn't have the minute dexterity. And I said, "Do you want me to play and you can just tell me what to do?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do that." And so I start playing, and I just let him tell me whatever he wants me to do, right? So this is
Mhm.
great. He loves this. So he's essentially playing, but he's not operating you know. So I guess this is why people watch Twitch now that I think about it. Anyway, um, but anyway, we're playing, and he's real video game savvy, at least when it comes to Mario. So
Mhm.
so we're playing. Uh, he really is worried about the princess. He's like, you got to get to the. He's like, we got to go kill Bowser. You got to save the princess. You got to save the princess. I'm like, okay. So I go to whatever the final stage is. I can't get in because I don't have enough stars. Long story. I don't know. Anyway, you have to have 10 stars. Whatever. These stars are hidden in the different fields. So I'm like, well, we have to go back and we have to find another star. We go into this one this one thing that I had beaten already, but I didn't win the star. We get ready to start, and as soon as we start, I see up in the sky this star that you have to get. And he's
Mhm.
and I'm like, you see that? That's what we need to get. And he's like, okay. And so we're going, and I get it first try, but then I drive off the side of a waterfall and die. And I'm like, oh shoot. So I go back in, start over, and I jump, and I miss the star, and I'm like, ah, crap. And so I play to the end of the thing because I'm not even thinking about it. And he's like, I'm like, okay, we'll try it again. I'll try to get the star. I jump, I miss the star again, and he just looks at me and goes, kill yourself. And I said, And I looked at him.
Jesus.
I looked at him and I went, "Oh, he's right. Yeah, if I just killed myself and started this over, we could just get that star a lot faster." So anyway, so it was the weirdest thing because he said kill yourself, but he was right. So anyway, I kill myself. I start over. I miss it right away again, and he goes, "Kill yourself." I go,
Okay, that's
"Okay."
creepy. That's creepy for
No,
a 3-year-old to say.
it gets
Jesus.
better. And then the third time I miss it, and he goes, "Kill yourself." Like he's getting mad. So-
That's when I call mom and grandpa time is over. I mean, Bam Bam time.
and he's so
Is up.
frustrated with me because it was great when I could do everything he told me to do, but when I got to a part of the video game where I couldn't figure it out, he was like, "You suck, Bam Bam." He was like, and then pretty soon, like his sister yells down the stairs. She was like, "Do you want eggnog?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he jumps up and he runs up the stairs. And I was like, "I guess he doesn't care about the princess anymore. I guess this is over." So
Yep.
anyway, so yeah, so you know, uh, pretty savvy with video games, I have to admit. So that
It's
was
pretty
kind of
good for 3, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not bad.
it's not bad.
No, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
Smith,
been
you're gonna have so much fun with your nephew when he gets a little bit older.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. He's gonna, yeah. It's screen time and me are gonna be, yeah, constant allies. But yeah,
yeah.
no,
Tice, were you cussing with Theo? I'm curious because when I play video games or any sort of competitive gaming, I cuss a lot, and I have to really watch myself, especially around Jonas's little cousins,
No,
because it can get pretty bad.
I'm pretty good about not cussing in front of them. I have a handful of kid friendly things like I say cheese and rice, and I say God, I say I say God bless America a lot. Those are kind of my go tos.
That's pretty good. That's good.
And I know when I worked at Matt's office in Indianapolis for a couple weeks, they used to go, they used to go when something would come up, him and his buddy Adam would go, "Shut the front door." So they're too young for that, but I haven't, but I probably add that in later when they know that word. So, uh, so. Have
I
you ever
like it.
dropped an F bomb with your little nephews and nieces?
I almost did because at Thanksgiving, the adults needed a break. So I was like, I'll watch the kids in the garage, which had a karaoke machine. It had table set up with crayons, markers,
Oh wow.
etc. Yeah, I mean, we had all the things for all the kids. So I was in there with like 7 of them. And we were playing dodgeball, of course. And which I don't think in retrospect was probably the best idea, but whatever, just as fun. And one of them threw this little, what are those like little puffy stuffed animals that everybody has now,
The
puffkins or something? Yeah,
squishmallow.
squishmallow. Threw it
Yeah.
at my head. Maxwell did. And I go, "You son of a bee sting." And he goes, "I know what you're going to say." And I was like, "No, you don't." And he's like, "My mom says it all the time. I know exactly what you're going to say." I was like, "What was it? Just between you and I?" And he goes, "Bitch." And I go, "Do not repeat that ever again." But yeah, I'm terrible. I'm terrible around kids, but they love it. It's fine.
Yeah, they like it. That's
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Let
Matt.
them get away with it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Matt. What you'll find out is like anything goes at uncle or grandpa's house. So it's
oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
actually have I almost wore it this evening. I have a T-shirt that my sister made me over Thanksgiving that says Funkle. So
Oh
it's been
my
well
God.
defined that I'm gonna be the I
Oh,
literally have a
that's so
closet
cute.
like just full of stuff for him. For I just like it's kind of fun like buying kid stuff. It's like it's all like $9 and like yeah, they'll play
I
with it
know.
for 7 minutes. But like I get $9 of enjoyment out of him playing with it for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't ever really like I've dropped because we hang out with Sam and Leo quite a bit. Like they're 5 and 8 now, like kind of half drop, but yeah, like not all the way. But like I don't know. I had a friend once that kind of suggested that like they didn't, they would occasionally do it, but they wouldn't make a big deal out about it. Like they would just like, and that seemed to like if they didn't seem to pay attention to it, like the kids didn't really seem to, I don't know. I don't know, but um,
I, I've heard a couple things, but I mean, I think basically the thought is you're the one that puts the importance on the words, and that's how they learn.
Right.
So,
Right.
That's very, very true.
If you accidentally drop it and then make a big deal out of it, they're like, "Oh, that's a good one. I should remember that one."
Right. If you drop to your knees and start praying after you say shit.
Yeah. Don't you ever say that word
you
ever.
Burn the casserole. Don't be like mommy. Kill yourself. Yeah. Yeah. I remember, like, I think it was in the 4th grade. I vividly remember this because I was not like, I didn't get in trouble at school. Like, I think this is probably like the first time I ever got in trouble in like elementary school. Mm-hmm. But we were playing the game 7-Up. Do you guys remember Heads Up 7-Up? Do you recall this game where you would put your, I think like, I think this was like one of those games you played when like your teacher wanted to read a book and she just like wanted to entertain the class. Like, and so you would put your head down and then somebody like your thumb up. And then I think somebody would run around the class and then somebody would like push on your thumb and then you would do something next. And then that was basically the game. Well, anyway, I remember that some kid came along and he like hit my thumb really hard and I popped up and I said, "You son of a motherless goat." And I didn't even say son of a bitch. I said, "You son of a motherless goat." And I got in trouble for that, which I think was a Three Amigos reference.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's right. And I was so fucking pissed because I was like, it was Mrs. I don't want to call her out. Well,
come on.
She listens every week.
I think it was Mrs. Flood. I think my 4th grade teacher was Mrs. Flood. Nah. I don't want to. I'm not gonna, for legal reasons. I'm gonna back off of that. We'll call her that.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, I remember just getting taken out in the hall and like just being shamed for like, you know what that means, and I was just like, "Ow."
What does it mean? What does she thinks it means?
I don't know. But apparently, she was very disappointed.
Goat.
She was
that
very
would be
like,
like
no, actually, I do. I apologize. It was
demon?
Not a flood. It was a Mrs. Metro. It was I think the teacher, and I remember that was like the closest I got to cursing, and then like by the time you get to middle school and high school, like nobody really gives a shit.
Fucking
kids curse all
dropping
the time.
them all the time. Yeah,
exactly. So I like that, but I don't like. I will say like it does make me like. I remember one time and specifically when Tyson and I were thinking to go see a show or something, and I don't. It's immaterial who the people we were hanging out with. But I remember we went to like lunch somewhere in Wichita. And like the people we were with were like just dropping F-bombs left and right. Do you remember this? And they were just like, it was like like a country kitchen. It was like and it was like we were having breakfast, and it was just like there were all these kids around, and I'm just thinking like, my God, I don't know, am I wrong? I just felt weird about that.
What were we doing in Wichita?
We went up to Wichita to go see some show at that tiny little shitty punk club.
This
was
cave?
like something like that. This was probably 10, 15. Probably
this was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Apparently, it scarred me. So I don't know how impressionable the children were, but it offended me, and so I guess that's what I'll take away from that. So wow, I guess I learned a lot about myself tonight. But anyway, I felt. But no, they were like little kids, and I don't know. It was like smoking. That. Like I always like when I was I always like sort of felt bad about smoking in front of children. Once they were teenagers, I was like, yeah, sure you can.
Whatever, you can breathe some of this in. Right. Yeah, but kids,
absolutely.
Yeah, I get that. But I also I learned every cuss word I've ever known from my grandfather. Like by the time I was 4, because he was a farmer in freaking, central Kansas. And so he would open up the paper and he'd go, "Goddamn Republicans." And then he'd just fucking fire F-bombs, shit, bitches, all of his stuff. And I'm just over there eating whatever. And my grandmother's trying to like get herself physically between us. And she's like, "Jesse, you want some more to eat?" And I'm like, "Nope, get out of the way. I just want to watch this." But I knew it was bad because the whole way back to Hayes, my mom would be like, "You're not supposed to use those words that grandpa uses, right? And if I catch you using them, you're going to be in trouble." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." So I understood, but I also had a very colorful language by the time I was 6.
I would agree. Like I knew the words. It was just, but we would never I I was old before I ever
Yeah, same. Especially in front of your
yeah.
parents. Like, when was the first time you cussed in front of your parents?
Once we got cool, once I moved out and we got cool
You're
and we
like,
became
you're paying your own
friends. Yeah.
bills. You have
Yeah. And then
insurance.
and then there's that you have to earn that barrier,
Yeah.
you can, like, no, most people don't, like, you just try to, yeah, you can't start.
I probably started in high school, but that's, I don't know.
Did you really?
Yeah.
With Rick and Lita, they were cool with that?
Well, my friends cussed. I remember my dad thought he liked to just sit around and listen to my friends talk. He still does. He still listens to this, for example. So, I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know, man. I started listening to stand up like when I was 9. So, I mean,
That's true.
They started using those words pretty early.
I think I probably used everything but the F-bomb. I think that was like the sort of the reserve, which is silly, but it's like 40% of 40% of controversy is language. It's an argument about language. I swear to God, just think about it. 40% of all controversy is about language. It's so silly.
I don't know. I never felt like I just always it's just like language itself. It's just fun. So those were just extra flavorful words.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I totally remember like trying to look up dirty words in like the elementary school dictionary, because they had like that, which I think maybe Tyson, did you have one of those giant ass, like it was like the dictionary? Like, apparently everything else is some measly abridged piece of shit. This is a real dictionary. And it had the F word in there and shit in there. So we were like, because we didn't have the internet, and that's what you did when you were 8 years old.
That's right. Let's see what else.
You looked up dirty words in the dictionary. That's now you look them up on Google.
Yeah. Urban Dictionary.
An Urban Dictionary.
Urban Dictionary, yeah.
So,
oh my God.
So one of our own this week had it finally came down with the plague. How's that going, Matt?
Yeah, I after, how long has this thing been going on for? 22 months, I think. I think it was like March of 2020 when things started to get, so I finally got the vid, tested positive. Well, I tested negative on Tuesday, then I woke up on Wednesday and just had a sore throat, and I was like, shit. And so I took that's why they give you 2 tests. And so I took the second test, and it just it says 15 minutes, but now it was just like, oh, there you are. And so got the line, which the only sadder 2 lines are a pregnancy. So I suppose it's not.
That is true.
I suppose it's not that terrible.
As someone who's taken a couple of those in fear.
Actually, if you flip it around now. Recycling, reduce, reuse. But no, it hasn't been that bad. It's just, I kind of felt like it felt like a flu, but I haven't had a flu in a long time, so I kind of forgot about stuffiness and blowing a lot of gross.
Nobody got the flu because they were wearing the mask.
That's the thing,
That's
right?
True.
Right, yeah. And I know. So it looks like it's going to delay our trip back to Kansas a little bit by a few days, but I think I'm definitely feeling better. So hopefully another day or two, and
it could be. When I was telling Beth, I accidentally said, "Oh man, Matt finally got the HIV," and I was, "Wait, no, no, it could be worse, Matt."
Oh yeah, bathing in HIPAA violations right now.
I like that. Like
me, so I guess it doesn't matter.
But the way I phrase, he finally got the HIV. It's been so close every time.
I love to see Beth's eyes.
I've been trying. I know the boy who couldn't get HIV.
I saw that on ABC After School. Didn't you?
I think I did too. Yeah, it was a sad one.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I went. That is half of the entertainment I've been giving myself this week is watching old ABC After School specials on YouTube, and oh my God, there are some gems.
I bet.
I've probably watched, because they're awesome, because they're like 30 to 45 minutes a piece. and like they've got crazy famous people in them like all the time. Like I mean, like you'll just be like, oh, and it's. I mean, they're great. I've probably watched 15 or 20 of them, and
did you see the Dungeons and Dragons one with Tom Hanks, or is that a movie?
That's a movie.
Is that a movie?
I think I've seen like bits and pieces of that movie. What was that called? Because that was based on like the MIT dude that like went in the tunnels and
he went crazy or whatever.
He went crazy
playing D&D. It's been so long.
D&D and listening to metal music.
Yeah.
Monsters and Mazes, was that the
name of that movie? That sounds very
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a real movie. Like I think that was like I said, I think I've seen bits and pieces of that.
1982, Monsters and Mazes.
Yeah.
Watch now on YouTube for free.
Yeah. A lot of free stuff on YouTube.
That there is.
Every man is a channel. It's great. Fighting for your entertainment dollar. So I got to watch a lot of media this week, and just kind of relaxed and slept a ton. So yeah, so getting better. On the upswing, as they say.
Good. Did you eat a lot of soup, Smith?
I did.
Are you a big soup guy?
I have a big sort of pantry full of soup, so I had a lot of chicken wonton, and my other Campbell's favorite split pea.
That's a good
bacon, which is one of my just childhood favorite. Just makes you enjoy those sick days all the more. So cold winter sick day, nice.
Yeah,
except they feel like
nice.
shit. Other than feeling like shit. But no.
How long do you have now? You don't have to isolate as long as you used to. It's like 5 days.
I don't think so. I think we'll probably, once I confirm that I'm negative, we'll probably give it a day or two, and then just make sure it's not. That's the nice thing is it's like thank God for modern technology because it wasn't that big a deal, and so it's not it's not the end of the world anymore.
There's a cure now.
Yeah, so it's not so there is a reason like why it's this minimal anymore. We'll also
thanks Joe Biden.
Yes, thank you, Joe Biden. We're underappreciated you. Sorry, I said some bad things about you earlier this year. May have deserved them.
Yeah, he may have deserved some.
You may have deserved them. You weren't exactly, dark. He wasn't. He caught his stride.
I'd say B minus.
He got his dark branded on.
I think I'd give him a B on the year now. I would have given him like a D in February.
Yeah, February
left
for
and
sure.
right. But man,
I would say B. Yeah.
Tyson,
he's passing. He's average. It's fine.
Passing.
I'll take that. I'll fucking take it all day long.
Yeah. See, that's the difference how you and I how the difference between how we looked at school is like you looked at a B is like, yeah, that's passing. I'm like, a B? Fuck. Like, no, that's amazing. Like I'm just like how we scale those in our heads. Usually a B is average. I'm killing it. I'm killing it with a B. B plus. It's A territory. It's A adjacent.
Having parents in higher education kind of sucked my ass.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was always like, oh, Jess, you want me to look at your English paper? Here it is.
Red. Yeah, that would have been like.
Oh man, it fucked with me. I actually talked about that in therapy. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that because Mom and Dad were like, hey, you did your homework, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, good.
Like, hey, you want to watch some TV with us? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I actually always did pretty good with grades until I just stopped caring at like my last 2 years of high school. And I still did pretty okay. But I mean, I only took like 2 real classes my senior year, so it's pretty hard to screw that up.
But did you guys really care? Like, was it like, oh, I got to get on the honor roll? I got to, like, all that stuff? Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually I figured out that didn't get you anywhere, really. So, got your picture in the paper.
National Honor Society.
Oh my God, I found it. It's so funny. I found like my mom got suckered into doing this twice. Once for my sister and once for me. It's like the who's who of high school students, 1994. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
And it's just a list of people's names, and you could get your name listed for like $35, and for $75 you could get your picture in there. And they would send out a letter to everybody that had a kid in school. and they'd be like,
Is this
"Would you
another
like your?"
Jostens racket? This sounds
Yeah,
like another
it was a
Jostens
total
racket.
it was
Yeah,
a
okay, all
complete
right.
racket.
I thought so.
Yeah, like I have the book like
Right.
right over there. I might even go get it and show you. It's ridiculous. And so it's just like, like mom was like, "Ooh, that like probably look good on his transcripts." I have no idea what she was thinking, but but really what there is it's a book that covers like 7 states. And
Uh-huh.
then you go to your state and then you look up your name in the alphabetical order. There's no way in the history of ever you would read this thing front to back, and yeah, so
You would
like
just find your name on it or your
yeah,
son's name on it.
and then it'd
Like
be
the
like, "Hey,
Vietnam Memorial. Like, oh yeah, there he
yeah,
is.
there I am." Yeah.
Take an etching
Take
of
an
it,
extra.
like
Yeah. Yeah, it's really that's it. I mean,
Who's
there's like
who? Wow.
I
700,000
love.
names in there, and it's like this thing.
Man, I miss '80s. God damn it. Yeah,
Wow.
that's awesome.
That
That was
is
the 90s, but
Well,
anyway,
'90s, I guess. Yeah,
God, she thinks we're old, Matt. She just thinks we're so old. But
had to slip that in there.
oh, you had to
I'm still
include
a
me into
young
that.
maiden in my 30s for another
A
6 months.
young maiden in your 30s.
young maiden,
Young maiden.
in your fiefdom
Yeah.
of 30
Yeah.
30ism.
Even without the modifier. Like, uh, sorry.
Yeah.
It's all in good fun.
It
Yeah.
is all in good fun.
What were we just
Speaking
talking
of good
about?
fun, do you want to do some headlines?
Oh shit! Yes.
Do you have any?
Oh shit.
I will
Oh
figure some things out. Yeah, yeah.
shit!
Somebody go. I was a little ill
All right, wait.
prepared.
I don't.
I like how Tyson every week braces himself for the scream.
Look, it's like
Huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the Memorex poster. See, that's an '80s reference right there. Actually, from the '70s, I think. I only have 2. I don't have a lot, but I thought this was kind of interesting. We haven't done a Nick Cage headline in a while, so I grabbed
Oh, we
this one.
haven't. That's good.
This is from comicbookresources.com, a thing that I read every day, unfortunately. It's terrible now. It used to be about the comic books. Now it's about anime and video games and D&D. God damn it. Anyway, when I was a kid, comic book resources were about comic books. Anyway,
Get off Tyson's lawn.
oh my God. Now, I have felt so old having those kids here, and then my daughter-in-law is so woke, I feel even older. I'm like, oh my
You
goodness.
love it though. It's awesome.
Oh, I do. I
right?
love having them
Yeah.
here, but I just bite my tongue. I'm like, what do I know? I'm an old man now. This is the headline. Nicolas Cage grew up believing he was an alien from another planet.
Of course he did.
I know. But it's kind of interesting why. National Treasure star Nicolas Cage reveals he thought he was an alien until a childhood visit to the doctor's office proved otherwise. In an interview with Ramp Style, Cage revealed his father remarked how he was, quote, such an alien. So that's he really thought that was all it took for him. So anyway, he recalled that he was shocked after visiting a doctor's office as a child. He said, I found out that I had normal organs and a normal skeleton.
Holy shit.
I was certain I was from another planet. To be fair, I mean, his dad knew what he was talking about. I'm sure that didn't help him, but anyway, I learned some stuff about Cage in this about some of his method actings. I didn't know this.
Uh-huh.
He was in the 1984 Vietnam War movie Birdie, which I've never seen.
Cage either. I've never
Actually
even
a
heard
really
of that.
good movie. I just watched that probably about 6 months ago. I'd never seen it. It was came out in '84. Really good movie.
Wow.
It said here that he had his baby teeth extracted without anesthetic to emulate a soldier's experience.
What?
Additionally, the actor covered his head in bandages for 5 straight weeks, wearing them even to sleep after a bomb explosion injured his character in the movie. So they wrapped him for the scene after his head blew up, and then he just wore the bandages for 5 weeks after that.
Okay.
Whoa.
It's when people go method, sometimes I just think that that's ridiculous. I mean, maybe that helps people, I guess, sometimes. But
I guess, but
when like
Jesus.
Wesley Snipe goes at method, that's just stupid. So anyway, this went on to talk a little, and I also found out that I didn't realize this, but he begged his uncle, who was Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola. He begged him to play Vincent Corleone in The Godfather Part 3, which I didn't know.
Oh. That's a fun
I
fact.
had heard that. Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. So
Do
anyway,
you know that Jason Schwartzman is his cousin? By the way, do you guys both know
I
that?
didn't. I didn't know that. I
He's
guess.
a part of the Coppola family.
I mean,
I mean, it makes sense. They look a lot alike.
They
but
do. I mean, is
I
there
didn't
anybody in
know
the?
that until 2 years ago, I think.
I mean, is there anybody in that family that owns a used car dealership or something fucking normal?
They should. Yeah.
Like
I
something
hope.
a spray tan, salon sort of
Spray
like
tan would make
empire.
sense. Yeah.
Uh,
Made to look like Rome. Yeah.
stereo auto tent store. Yeah,
yeah, a vape slash car
Oh my
stereo
God, a
store.
vape play. Yeah.
just like skirting like the use of the name, just like
yeah,
yeah,
Coppola vape.
laws. Yeah, yeah. You got to add an apostrophe, otherwise, no good. No good.
Vapola stereos.
Vapola. Tice.
Yeah.
Copyright that shit, producers. Yeah.
All right. I only have one other headline. I actually have just been really busy trying to get ready for everybody to get here, so I've been working all over the house and stuff. So this is from Fox News, and and the only thing that I liked about this most, the thing that I like about this most, normally I wouldn't have a headline like this, but this is a feel good story for Fox News. I mean, and I was just like, what a weird thing, but it was, like how on Apple News it says, it has story, 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 story. Usually the fourth one is meanwhile on Fox at 4. Trump sells baseball cards, which I'm sure one of you will get to.
I was going to leave that for you or Smith, but yeah,
I
we can talk about that.
I can take it. I had very few, so we got to take that one.
So anyway, this is the headline: California man trying to steal goat shot by elderly homeowner and arrested. All right.
That's very good.
Here's why
That's good.
This is why it's a feel-good story for Fox News. A Southern California man was shot by a homeowner earlier this month while trying to steal a goat and a dune buggy from the residence. In the press release, the San Diego County Sheriff said that the 36-year-old Alexander yada 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 was shot by an elderly homeowner who sprung to action after noticing that Berlinski was trying to steal a goat from his San Marcos, California home in the North County region of San Diego. The 79-year-old homeowner who sprung into action. Let's keep that in mind. See the feel-good story here, the Fox.
I'm feeling it.
Sprung into action, shot a man who was trying to take his goddamn dune buggy away from him. The 79-year-old dune buggy enthusiast. You know the type. Anyway,
you know the type.
The 79-year-old homeowner and his 60-year-old wife, total player at 79, and his 60-year-old wife heard Belinsky rustling outside with the goats, and then they went outside to stop him. Police say Belinsky pushed them to the ground at that point, fearing for the safety of his wife and himself. The homeowner went back inside and grabbed his rifle. When the homeowner was inside, police say Belinsky placed the goat in a dune buggy on the property and attempted to start the engine, preparing to flee. Belinsky got out of the dune buggy when confronted by the husband, according to police, who charged him and grabbed his rifle. At that point, the rifle was fired and a shot hit Belinsky. Deputies from the San Diego County Sheriff's Office arrived shortly after and placed Belinsky under arrest. So, feel-good story of the year. 79-year-old man with a hot young wife, 60, sprung into action, shot a man trying to steal his goat and dune buggy. Fox News, ladies and gentlemen. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
There was a long tail on that headline, but you had to follow it.
I do feel better.
I do too. Thanks, Fox News.
Thanks, Fox News.
I mean, that is the next Clint Eastwood movie for sure. I'm guaranteed.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to do much more. I watched what was the last one he did? Like, it was fine.
Something macho.
Yeah, it was fine, but the dude's getting old and he's just slowing down. So eventually,
didn't he have a three-way in that movie with or was that a different movie where he was the drug runner?
Oh,
I don't think this movie. Yeah.
I've never watched that movie.
I didn't watch it either.
When I heard there was a
think you're
three-way,
right.
I didn't want to watch it.
No, if he had a three-way in this movie, it was so boring that I just completely zoned it out because it's so
That's how
boring
you
and
break
drawn out.
it.
Yeah,
Clint. Yeah.
You know the guy that wrote this is just stupid, but I'm just gonna tell you, and it's amazing that I know this, but here, this is what Wikipedia a whole will take you down one sometimes. The guy who wrote Gran Torino and also and wrote like a bunch of, as soon as Clint Eastwood read the screenplay for Gran Torino, uh, um, he hired this guy to write like all his movies for him for the rest of his life. So most of the movies he's done, he's been written by this guy. The guy's job before this was a show called Bowling for Soup. No, that was the band. It was like Bowling. What was it? It was on Comedy Central, and it was a comedy show about bowling. But it was like a live action show. I'll find out what it was. But anyway, like the guy who wrote Gran Torino, his only job before that was like a production writer on this bowling for cash or something like that. Anyway, I guess that's not a very good story if I don't even know the name of the place. But anyway, the show. But anyway, those are my headlines. Next, somebody else can. We'll all talk about the NFTs together. So
yeah. We'll save that for the end.
I can't wait to hear your reactions because
actually,
like, that day was. I mean, wow.
Oh my god! Well, we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll wait. So actually, like a couple like really good like drug policy related changes happened, and that I caught on NPR for the last couple of days. The first one, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland moves to end crack cocaine sentencing disparities. So, for those of you that are aware, for the longest time, I think there was in the 80s. God bless Reagan. They put some fairly substantial penalties on crack cocaine, where I think it was something like 17 grams of crack was equal to like a kilogram of powdered cocaine. Now, no one's saying that it's racist, except maybe for everyone. But basically, this policy. But that was a thing, right? Is like you sell crack in the hood, you go to prison for 40 years. You know, you sell an ounce of blow to your buddies, and Aspen, 6 months. And I was amazed that a lot of these were still in place. Now, apparently there was legislation a few years ago that lessened these, but I couldn't believe that they had not gotten to this. Anyway, so I guess, better late than never, but man, like, holy shit. Like, I couldn't, like, yeah, there's a lot of people that went to prison for a very long time for crack cocaine because, well, we'll talk about the CIA in another episode. That's a fun story, though. I should look into it. Let's see. There was that one. And then another one is that the Biden administration made an announcement. They're really making a push to have basically methadone to be easier to access for heroin addicts. If you're not aware, methadone is the most common sort of I guess stopgap, or sort of what's the word for it, to kind of get you over the hump and deal with the addiction. But for a lot of municipalities and a lot of states, you have to go in every day. They won't allow you to give doses and take them home with you. And there are people that have been on methadone for decades. I mean, it is a maintenance. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. It's a maintenance drug. And so during COVID, because a lot of the logistics just made that very difficult for methadone, they did suspend some of those rules, and now they're pushing to make those longer term. So that's a really good thing to have easier access to methadone when somebody can get, a 10 or 30 day and not have to worry about, taking the bus down to the methadone clinic every day and what that costs. I mean, and it's oh my God, like it's just, I know we're so behind the world on drug policy. I guess it's good to see us get a little bit closer. So that's as happy as I get for America. Too late, you dipshits. No, but it's nice to give. hey, they're getting some shit done, right? Like they got a lot done. They may not get a lot done. We're going to learn a lot about Hunter Biden over the next 2 years. So hold tight. That better be one fucking interesting laptop. Like, what is on that thing, man?
Naked pictures of Nancy Pelosi. You'd think it was like
I hope it's the Trump P tape. I hope the Trump P tape is on
please,
Hunter
that'd
Biden's
be
laptop.
great.
I think that would be
soon.
This is just sad. So Tyson, as most of you are aware, I live in the city of Indianapolis, where we have a football team.
Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy.
Jesus, that game.
And I was actually, so apparently, Comeback King Vikings set NFL rally record win versus Colts. So apparently, the Vikings have set the biggest rally in history. When the Colts had 33, it was 33 to nothing at halftime.
Yeah.
And they wound up losing 39 to 30
in overtime.
It's insane. Did you watch that? Did any of you watch that?
I watched the first drive by Minnesota. They didn't do anything, and then I watched them do another drive, and then I had to go downstairs, and it was on the NFL Network, which we don't have.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it.
So I was watching on NFL Plus upstairs, and then I had to get the Simpson thing put together, which took me, I think they said it was going to take 45 minutes. It took me about 5.5 hours. So
it looks great, by the way. A few seconds I thought of it.
And it's not even done. I mean, it works, but it's not even done. But anyway, so I didn't watch, but I felt so bad because I alerted Matt to the fact that Indianapolis was having the best game of their year. And then I was like, poor Matt, I hope he didn't watch the rest of this, but I don't know.
What happened at halftime is my question.
Somebody got their ass chewed in the locker room.
Jesus.
And it worked. The whole team got their ass chewed, I'm sure.
Wow. Yeah, I guess.
That is,
man, I couldn't believe it. The Vikings are a possible Super Bowl contender this year.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And I almost thought about texting you, some swarmy message about, they'll fuck this up. But no, I don't think they. What
are you gonna do?
Oh wow. Anyway,
that's what it is.
Yeah. Hey, at least you didn't go to that game.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, right.
Because you probably would have stayed to the end.
Oh, hell yeah, we would have. Oh, yeah. Oh, that would have been the worst. And my final sort of story this week, this is not everything, but did want to touch on, well, not touch on, that's a poor choice of words, but talk about Elon Musk, who continues to have a very bad week. So I think it was like Monday, there's been a guy on Twitter who's had this, I think it's been like at Twitter Jet for the last like year or two or something. And so he did this thing, which basically used, when you own a jet, they're expensive and you have to give those people certain personal information in order to. So this is all publicly, available information. When you own a public jet and you're in the public airways, you're publicly identifiable. There's publicly accessible information. So there was someone who had a Twitter account that was publishing, Elon's location at all points in times. And it was accessible information. He wasn't, he was just aggregating the information, reporting it out. And he's done this for, I think when this first came out, like Elon offered him like $15,000 or something to take it down.
Yeah. No, this guy is like, this kid, he's a kid, right?
Yeah, he was young. I think he was like in college. Like he just did this as a project. I don't know if he did. I don't. He probably just did it to like be like, hey, it's kind of neat. And so he offered to like at first like the wise kids obviously was smarter than Elon was, and was like, oh fuck you. So he kept it up. I think he may have ultimately offered him more. But anyway, for whatever reason, this turned into this whole thing. But there was I don't know what happened first, but somebody tried to take a picture of his car when his kid was in it, and he freaked out. And so he banned this kid's account. It was just showing Elon's current jet location. But then he proceeded to ban like 4 or 5 other journalists who just reported on the story. So he banned the account. These journalists pointed to the banned account and said, hey, this account got banned. Elon always talked about free speech. And then he claimed that they were doxing him or revealing his location. and revealing assassination points is the language he actually used. Was so he totally just went off the rails. And so there's all this speculation that he's, just drugged out on Ambien and and like he's running like 9 companies and they're all just tanking like crazy. So, and I couldn't be more happy for all of it. So, but he just had a really bad week. He just looks like the dipshit that he is. And I'm going to say that we were early adopters of disliking Elon Musk.
Yeah.
No, I just so. Oh, the other thing too that I thought was fascinating was Twitter needs some money.
Yeah, that's true.
Twitter needs a lot of money. It became revealed earlier this week that they haven't been paying their rent, and which is so Elon. And
so Elon. That's so Elon.
So Elon. And and so anyway, so they haven't been paying them, but they're basically were offering people the opportunity to invest at Twitter at the price Elon paid of like $56.50 a share.
What?
Which was like 30% or 40% higher than it was publicly.
Yeah.
So like they're trying to convince people that like, Elon's genius, you've got a rare opportunity to, and it's just, I don't know what's going to happen, but I was reading an article and it says, a lot of advertising budgets are, they're sort of created for the beginning of the year. And so it's going to be very interesting to see, a lot of people will budget their spend annually, especially big companies. And so, big like company like Coca-Cola would have like a 2022 ad spend with Twitter. Well, they may not have cut that ad spend short, but they may not have renewed for 2023. And so there's this big question of how many of these advertisers that maybe they didn't bail, but it already did a pre-spend and we're just waiting to finish out the year. And so you could have a huge drop off of advertisers, in the new year too, which will be oh so joyous. 2023 for us all.
Well, he did. Okay.
And Mastodon, apparently.
Mastodon. Poor Mastodon. Again, they're trying. I think they're getting their shit together.
They got banned too. They banned.
Oh,
Mastodon,
yeah, I know.
he banned. Which, if you're not familiar, Mastodon, I think, was formed is a competitor that was formed by some ex-employees. I think that
it was like an open source. It was kind of like a blockchain type mini server type thing. So it was all over the place.
Okay.
But, it got slammed, and so there weren't enough servers, blah, blah, blah. When I say like blockchain, I mean that there was a shared service across many different servers that were private servers. Anyway.
Gotcha.
But so a couple of things just to add to his awesome week that he had. And I kind of think maybe there is a small chance, but not an insignificantly small chance that he did end up by Twitter just to shut down that jet thing anyway. Which
interesting.
And he said something like when he said he was being doxxed, he said he said something stupid. It was like, you can't put someone's current location, you can only put the location where they have previously been. But that, all those selfies that people put on Twitter, in locations where they are,
right, yeah,
it makes no sense. It's like okay, well then I guess like half of Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the call. There was this thing where I think there was like something called circles or something on Twitter. I don't Twitter or tweet or twat or do that. I don't. But they would. I think it's like a live chat thing where you can do like a live kind of chat. And so these banned journalists, although their Twitter account had been deleted, they were still able to chat with each other. So they had a chat. Elon Musk pops into their chat. Somebody hits screen record. They start asking Elon questions about this whole thing, and one reporter basically gets him to admit that he's wrong, and he basically gets flustered, just drops off the call. So
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it really is kind of amazing that a company as big, you really would think that it would put. I don't know. It's amazing it's going to be incredible to watch this guy fuck up what was like, I don't know, what a $50 billion company or whatever it was.
Well,
yeah.
And potentially bankrupt it. Like, people think that's crazy. I don't think it is.
I don't either.
No.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, but I mean, especially lose all the advertising, because people could still use it and then not have people advertise on it, and then it would be even more expensive for him to try to pay, because he's got to maintain all his users,
right,
but have no advertising on there.
Right.
But
and that's the problem is he's got to sell the Twitter now, not Twitter of 2020. he's got to sell the Twitter where he leaves this rotting corpse at. That's the Twitter he's got to sell, and it's getting worse. They're talking about child porn is popping up again because they just don't have the moderation that. Yeah, so it's a clusterfuck of tremendous proportions, and
I try to
buy some Jiffy Pop. Long night.
Well, he sold 3.6 billion dollars of Tesla stock because he needs some cash.
Yeah.
Of course, he's got everything like kind of screwed up with with the SEC's checking in the fact that he gets an extra $100 billion a year from his stock options somehow. So that's going to come to roost with him too. And then I did see, I don't know, I mean this is normal for businesses, but I just thought it was funny. I saw a link to a huge auction where they're selling off all this stuff that's like office chairs from the Twitter headquarters, like office chairs, ovens, just all this stuff.
I looked at that listing too.
Everything starts at $25. You can get the most kick-ass double oven, that you can make pizzas with.
They must have had a kick-ass commissary because there were some big pizza ovens that they had.
I don't know. Yeah. You're right though, but I think we were ahead of the board. Well, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that he.
I've been saying it for years, but we brought it to that.
I think we've really cornered the market on.
Yeah, just didn't like the cut of that guy's jib.
He's not a genius now. I think
he's not a genius.
At least not a financial genius.
God,
no. I just, but I did read something, which I think we'll get into this after Jessica's headlines. But how he really, you said he bought Twitter to sort of, now what did you say? The reason he bought Twitter, to stop the jet thing. But like, sort of what he ultimately did is he became Donald Trump. Like, Trump left Twitter, he became the resident jackass of Twitter.
That's true.
And like, he is sort of, and I think, and you've seen that another thing I'd forgotten that we had, but like Trump's numbers are like, he's not coming back as president, folks.
No.
This is good news, but he's not happening.
It's not happening.
But like DeSantis is leading him
especially with his big announcement.
With his big announcement, which we'll get to. That's what we're teasing it as the big announcement because it's the big announcement. But
I mean, you're right. I mean, you said it a few years.
That's true.
You said it several shows ago. Is like the move now is to get rich, get in trouble, become a Republican, and then just say whatever the fuck you want. And then just win over a certain segment of people, and then you just know that you have their back, and everybody else is a libtard. And what he posted something. Elon posted something the other day. Somebody called it a dad tweet, which I thought was kind of funny. It was he said, "My pronouns are investigate."
Oh God!
No. It's like it's lowest common denominator bullshit. That's what it is. It's like how do I get the morons to like clap for me? You know, I mean, oh my God, but he's addicted to it, right? And I think it's the same egotism that got to Trump. And I think I'm not excusing anything for any of those two fucking idiots, but it changes you. Like when you think, just as I think it does, they talk about how smartphones are so bad for you and social media because it's that constant positive reinforcement of, oh shit, I posted a picture. How many people liked it? Oh, people must fucking hate me. Finally. Oh, no internet connection. I'm fine. Like that kind of social. That's why I don't use social media. Maybe I revealed too much, but and it's that kind of thing, just on like this grand, massive, immediate feedback scale that is new. That's a new thing for, and I don't know. It's I think he really has kind of supplanted Donald Trump in that space, and you might see him. I don't know. I don't think he's eligible for president. I don't think he's a U.S. born citizen. So I think we've got that going for us.
Yeah, I think we're safe.
I don't think anybody's going to change.
He can run for governor of California or Texas. Yeah. Maybe he'll run for governor of Texas.
Oh, joy. Oh, wow. That would be great.
That would be great. He loves Texas.
He loves wearing that cowboy hat.
Freedom.
Yep.
All right. That's my headlines. Dawson.
Those are pretty good. One last thing about Elon. Him getting booed after joining.
That was
Chappelle
a really bad week. I forgot about we're probably not even mentioning half the shit that happened about. Yeah, and it was loud.
Shit was hilarious because, literally, if you watch the video, listen to the video. It is like the entire place is booing him.
Oh yeah.
And then he went on to say like, oh, it was really only like 10% of the audience was booing
bullshit.
me. Yeah. Fucking shit.
No, Chappelle was like uncomfortable. Like if that was the truth, like Chappelle wouldn't have like responded the way he did on stage with him. Like it was clear that it was very awkward.
Very awkward.
Yeah. And it's like, oh man! Finally, Chappelle found somebody that he could just bring with him to
just bring him on, just throw him in when the jokes aren't working. Just focus your anger on this shit.
They kind of hate.
But Dave Chappelle got a lot of shit for bringing him on stage, which brings me to like one of it's not really a headline, but it's my favorite tweet of the week. Do you guys know the actor Bokeem Woodbine by chance? He's been in some movies. He was in Fargo season 2 or 3. I can't remember which one.
I'm gonna look up.
But a lot of people mistake him for Dave Chappelle. And so he tweeted out this thing, and I have to read it verbatim. But he said, real shit, I think at this point, every single one of y'all that called me the evil Dave Chappelle owes me an apology. And if you still can't tell us apart, I'm the one that doesn't have Elon Musk's dick in my mouth. Like,
wow,
so good, right? I loved it.
And I know who that guy is. He was, I think he was on The Wire, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah,
he's been in a lot of stuff. He's a great actor.
Yeah, he's a very good actor. Yeah,
God, I love that. I was like, fuck, that's so
funny. Like James
funny. What were you thinking?
That shit's funnier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Read the room, Dave.
Yeah, for real. What the fuck were you thinking? He was like out of his balls high or something.
They were in San Francisco too, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
Well, that's like the worst place you could bring him on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The worst city in the world.
I don't know. So that was one. And then I just had this other one that I thought, especially Tyson will get a kick out of. This fan has more Kansas City Chiefs memorabilia than anyone else on the planet. And fun fact, I actually know this guy. He's the uncle of one of my best friends from high school, Kristen Allstat. Her uncle, Kurt Herman of Manhattan,
you know what? In the
Kansas.
back of my head, I was like, I bet it's one of Kristen's relatives. I don't know why.
Doesn't surprise you, right?
Went. So anyway.
But he literally holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest collection of Kansas City Chiefs memorabilia.
Wow.
He has to date 1,363 items. And you can see all of them on the website, chiefseum.com. He's been collecting since 1970. He said he's been asking for Chiefs memorabilia as gifts ever since he was young. And people have just been sending it to him. And then he's just been on eBay and buying a lot of stuff. So he's like, I love the thrill of the hunt. But it's kind of cool. I was like, oh my God, this is a guy who's featured on NPR for his crazy Chiefs collection. Yeah. So shout out to Kurt Herman. It's crazy. I had no idea. I knew he loved the Chiefs, but I had no idea it was that big. So good on you, sir.
Yeah.
He's a good guy on top of that. So happy news is what I try to focus on. But we should talk about the NFT and our reactions to
Dawson,
that.
Luckily, I just got our Zencaster invite to start the podcast. So
Jesus Christ. Zencaster! Not enough of your shit.
Well, we'll know in about an hour or so how we got the best advice.
It literally boils my blood every week, but you know what?
It might work this week.
And this is what I do. Yeah, it might.
It might. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm working on it. So what was your reactions to Trump's big announcement?
Well, let's if everyone, I can't imagine. I will say this, like this story, I've been using Reddit pretty actively for the last 4 or 5 years, read a lot of Reddit, and this story hit almost every single subreddit. Like subreddits that don't even talk about Trump. Like we're just like, check this shit. Like it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And this, I think, was like the first day I was starting to feel sick. So this was sort of the warm the Campbell soup and this Trump story warmed my heart and to health slowly.
So just so if people don't know, so basically he said Trump came out, I don't know how long ago, and said he was going to make a big announcement.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I read.
And what did you think? Like vice president?
Well,
Like,
I didn't even know that he was making a big announcement because I can
yeah.
barely keep up with his dumb shit anyway. But
Yeah.
like half the time it could be like I've signed a deal with Pizza and we're gonna put him on the top of Trump Tower, and so
There was some speculation that it could be that he was going to run for Speaker of the House, which, if that sounds weird to you, that was a possibility because I think he could be named Speaker of the House without actually being
a
an
senator.
elected representative. Yes,
For real?
Or,
yes,
What's
sorry,
that
that?
was
sorry, a congressman.
congressman. Yeah, so that was something that was being talked about that he would either run for. I think that's there were a couple things that I think that they thought were potential
Is that
announcements.
why he
Running
came
mate.
out? He came out today and said, vote for McCarthy. Is that why he came out and said
Well,
that?
I no, I think that's. I think some of the hard right winger Trump MAGA people have been like sort of arguing with McCarthy and because but I think this is a little tit for tat. I think this is like McCarthy has kind of had Trump's back like in embarrassing him out.
He's kind of had Trump stick in his mouth.
Yes, a little
Yeah,
bit of that, a
big
little bit
time.
of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that was him sort of actually, yeah, being reciprocal on a relationship, which I'm not
That is
sure.
weird.
I'm sure
Well, I'm sure
Melania's
it didn't
like, what the
cost him
fuck was that
a
about?
fucking
Yeah.
penny to do that, so I'm
But
sure that was
yeah.
easy for him.
So anyway, big
Big
announcement.
announcement.
Gets to what day of the week was it? Wednesday? What day of the week was it? This
I
happened.
feel like it was Wednesday. I
Maybe it
don't
was
know.
Wednesday. Hump day.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah,
waking
that
up.
makes
They're
sense.
like,
Yeah.
Donnie J,
What do you got
gonna
for us,
make a
buddy?
big news announcement. And Tyson, what did he give us?
He gave us 45 collectible NFTs. He doesn't know what they mean exactly. He's not sure what they are. Also, I don't think he understands what NFTs actually mean. He was like, they're like baseball cards, and I guess that was about as close. That was probably. I'm sure that's how he was pitched. He was like, "What are these things?" And he's like, "They're
Sure.
like baseball cards,
Oh,
but
baseball cards.
you
I
get
know
them on your
those. Yeah.
phone." Yeah.
And that's
Um,
basically as coherent as
Oh,
the
yeah.
narrative on the website is like,
Yeah.
these are basically like baseball cards, only better because I don't know some
Because
reason and like
better than Lincoln and better than
yes,
Washington.
and there was an
The
accompanying
fuck?
video. So
yeah,
they
there
made
was a
this
video
announcement with an accompanying basically like 2.5 minute like infomercial
Yeah.
of
yeah
Trump comparing himself, not only comparing himself, but
saying
saying that
Saying.
that he was better than Lincoln and
better than Washington.
better than
Yeah.
Washington, clearly,
Clearly.
Yeah.
clearly. And it's a real cheesy fucking ad, but all the image, and I'm sure our audience has seen these. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
The imagery
Yes.
itself
Yes.
Yeah,
is
I mean,
fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
like
I
Like,
believe he chose the language. He said it was like moments from his historic career and business. And so that's like what he
yeah.
described these, but it's mostly him dressed as superheroes or
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
just very strange.
Now, and one of them, my favorite one was he looks like he's on the cover of Tiger Woods, like 19,
Oh,
like
yeah. I like
golf,
that one too.
But
Where
yeah,
it's got the giant swoosh and the golf ball, and it's
yeah,
just very, yeah.
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 I mean, he's dressed up as super. He's dressed. I mean, he's he's way thinner and younger, and his hair looks way better than in real
Yes.
life. I
The
mean, but
Photoshop is fucking terrible.
I mean, it wasn't Photoshop, right? It was all digital art. I surely, I mean, it didn't. None of it looked like it was photorealistic to me.
I don't know that any of it came from an actual photo of the man himself. It seemed,
But I don't know. I
yeah,
didn't
I
see all
don't either.
45. But
I
here's the
looked
deal.
at 10 and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did like some people like post pictures of like they tried to find the closest picture they could of him in real life to some of the ones that were, and that was a real treat. I did
Oh, I
give
need
him
to
that
see
credit.
that. You need
Yeah.
to share that. I've not seen
There's
that.
one of them great where he's got the golf one where he looks like he's Tiger Woods on the cover, and then there's just another one where he's crouched down on a golf course, bent over with his club up over his head, slamming it down on the ground like a caveman hitting a bat on the ground. Oh my god, I laughed so hard. But but he
So
said,
good.
but he said something along the lines of, if you buy all 45, you have a chance to have dinner with me.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I understood him to say, but what that's what he said actually. But what it really meant was, if you're one of the many people that buy all 45, one of you will have a chance to have dinner with me
Right.
or meet with me.
Right.
But for a second, I was like, man, if I had because it was so that would be at 100 piece, that'd be $4,500. For $4,500, if I had the money and I was guaranteed to have dinner with Donald Trump, I would absolutely buy all 45. And then I would
You
go.
would?
Oh, absolutely. And then I would just piss him off so bad at dinner. Like he would just get me kicked. I'd be kicked out like in like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Throw
"Oh
a
my God."
ketchup bottle at you.
No, yeah, I would have been like, I would just be like, "Oh, it's such an honor to meet you. I never thought I'd meet the worst president in the history of America." And like, I can't even believe your skin looks even worse in public. I mean, in person. I
Right.
mean, I mean, I would
I
just
mean, that's a
lean
good
into it.
because like put a value on telling Nixon to go fuck himself.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
how much
Yeah.
would you pay to tell Nixon these 50,000, 100,000, something like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a goddamn bargain.
It
For
is
$4,500.
$4,500 to just be like
Yeah,
to be a fucking enemy of the state. Of course, you'd really, like your life would probably be ruined. But still,
Yeah.
you could wear a mustache. You wouldn't have to know who you were. You know?
All I remember is that guy had a mustache.
so this
That's
was
right.
so once this was announced, there was no ambiguation about how the media responded to this.
Oh yeah.
Collectively, everyone said, "What the fuck?" And like it was.
Everyone thought it was a joke
Yeah, and
until they saw the infomercial.
because if you
And they were
see
like,
the
holy
images,
shit.
like if they would have been like presidential, I would have been like, yeah, like, but no, they're like, I mean, they're like,
Oh,
look
they're
like they're for
terrible.
children. They
Yeah.
look like they're for children, and they are for children.
They are for children.
But this, yeah, it was huge, and it was like I said, this got so much traction. But
did sell out in 12 hours.
It did sell out. It did sell out.
$4.5 million.
And I figured it would. I figured
I
That
did
is
too.
some
it's
fucking
still an
shit,
NFT,
right?
and there's still that market. So like,
Oh, yeah.
I figured it would. I figured it would sell out. But and
Paying for his legal fees.
And I honestly do believe the vast majority of purchasers were like NFT enthusiast speculations as opposed to Trump voters.
Yeah.
I may be wrong about that though, and if I'm wrong about that, there's gonna be a lot of disappointed children come Christmas Day because I'm not sure a lot of these people understand what a digital trading card means. I think they might think they're getting like a small tablet with like a Trump on it.
I know. You're probably right.
I think it's possible.
An actual, an actual trading card.
Digital trading card, right? That's what I would expect.
I did see that. So OpenSea is the number one trading area for NFTs. I know this because I'm in the blockchain business a little bit. And there was like maybe, I think, what was it? In the next 6 hours after it closed, there was $300,000 worth of trades happening. So anyway, there was a speculation by a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
well, I got a shitload of press coverage, so that kind of made sense too. Yeah,
I mean, even Bannon said he was a fucking idiot, and so like that's a bad sign. Bannon's going to jail because he's such a big supporter.
Yeah.
So it was. I don't know. It was awesome. Like
it was awesome. No, like seriously, I was like grinning for like the first like 5 hours of the day.
I just stop laughing for like 2 hours. Yeah, it was great.
But when you dug into it a little bit more though, and you realized because I looked and I like sort of wanted to read the disclaimer to sort of figure out who was actually doing this thing. If it was him, it's not him. He has nothing to. He licensed his name.
Yeah,
that's all he did. He licensed his name and likeness. Now, here's the thing about that. Is that the total sale value? So their sort of initial NFT offering that they've done for this, what was it, 4,500 pieces? Is that right?
4,500 pieces, yeah.
$4,500 or 4,500 pieces at $99 a piece roughly was $4.5 million that it would have come in. That's roughly what the take was. It's $4.5 million. $4.5 million is a lot of money for me and for you and for most people, $4.5 million. But if you consider all the fees they would have had to pay on this and like the creation of this and that the fact that they're working for a company, that means Donald Trump probably paid a fraction of that haul for the use of his likeness, which means that for probably, let's say best case scenario, they gave him $2 million to do this. The amount of negative press that Donald Trump received for $2 million shows you how insanely desperate that dude is for cash right now.
Bingo.
Like this is Trump blowing dudes in the back alley. Like that's the equivalent. Like that's how bad. I mean, unless he's just that stupid. Like I don't know. It could be both. but like this is just desperation, and it's obvious desperation. Because I was like, really, like, because again, $4.5 million is a lot of money, but not in Trump
But
world.
doesn't he have all that money from like his save Trump, like from his super PAC? Like he never spent any of that money,
Well, I
right?
don't know what they did say a few months ago that his fundraising campaigns, and I have noticed my emails have stopped the last few days
Huh?
because I signed up for all the Trump mailing lists because know your enemy and all that, and because I didn't remember, but I signed up as "fuck you" and they still send me the "dear
Yeah,
fuck" and it's cute.
Mister.
But those have dropped off. But there was something that came out a couple months ago that said that for every $1 they were spending to raise it, for every $1 they were raising, they were spending 97 cents to raise it. This
Oh
was a
my!
couple months ago. So I
Wow.
think fundraising has collapsed. So who
Yeah.
knows? There's a lot of dipshits out there willing to give Trump money. So I don't think he's going to be begging on the street anytime soon. But like, if it wasn't just desperation for money, it was an embarrassing miscalculation.
It was.
Like, it's good. It's
Yeah.
all good. It's good. I love this. Like, he's not going to be. He's not going to be the
Anything.
Republican nominee for president, and
It's just going to be a miserable son of a bitch, just like he was before he
Yes,
was
he
and
is.
president.
it's gonna and
Yeah.
he is going to be a delicious pain in the ass to the Republicans. Like,
Yeah,
Big
he's going to
time.
be. We're going to enjoy that for years.
yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was just one of those really good year cappers, I think. And I think
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Will he do crazier shit before the end of the year? Quite possibly.
Probably.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
There's a couple things coming out pretty soon, that could come out before the end of the year.
I think Department of Justice, either today or yesterday, was rumored or half reported they had 3 charges that they were going to recommend to the Department of Justice. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see. Not really binding. DOJ is doing their own thing. We'll see if that new Smith dude or whatever his name is does his job.
Well, he subpoenaed like every
He did.
state, tried to
Yeah.
turn it over, tried to do the fake elector bullshit.
Yeah. So I think they're moving on it, and it's good. It's good for it's good for that too, because then Trump's going to lose his, like, the more of an embarrassment he becomes, the less the press and media are going to be there for him when this stuff starts hitting the fan, and that's all he's got. Like, his only defense is his his defenders, and so
Yeah. I
happy
have one.
2023.
I have one, I have one more little weird thing I want to talk about, if that's okay. Um, I was watching this thing on CNN.com because I don't have cable, and it had this article. It was an interview with some people that are our age. It was and then they were interviewing the youngest person on their team, and it was about Generation X people working with Gen Zers and
Hmm.
problems that people have in communicating and how sensitive the people Gen Zs are compared to when they get emails or something like that and they don't know how to respond. That's something that you just wouldn't, that the Gen Xers wouldn't think about. Because we didn't grow up with phones, we got phones and started IM chatting and all that stuff in our 20s, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had this thing where it was like about the word okay. Like if somebody sends you an email and says, hey, or a text and says, I need you to do this. And then it said there were 6 different ways you could respond. So capital OK was considered a classic, and that was fine. Capital O, capital K was considered aggressive. Uh, like OK, you know, uh, OKAY was like, okay, fine, I'll do whatever you're saying, but it sounds like a waste of time to me. Capital K was like, okay, this person hates me because that's what a capital K is like. Oh my god, and then a little k and a little k was like, okay, that's cool. I guess that was the one, and then the last one was I can't remember what the last one was, but there was there was a 6th one, and the Gen Zer was like, oh yeah, the capital K, yeah, I would almost break into tears if my boss sent that back to me in an email, or whatever. And they also did a thing about smiley faces. They said, a smiley face, like just a regular emoticon with a smiley face,
Hmm.
is like they're like they consider that to be like pretty offensive. If you didn't have a big smiley face with teeth on it, that's the preferred way for Gen Zers to get the smiley face with the teeth, which I notice you use a lot. Dawson, but
I use the grimacing one
is that
a
it?
lot.
I can't tell what that is.
Yeah.
And then, but this Gen Zer was like going on and on saying like, she was like, well, there's 1,000 emoticons, so why would you just use a smiley face? There's so many other ones you could use. And these guys that were interviewing her were just like, oh yeah, I don't understand any of this stuff, you know. And apparently, I've pissed off a bunch of people. And I was like, oh my god, I have too. Because my daughter-in-law, she wrote me back KK, and I was like, I don't even know what that means. I assume that means okay, okay, you know. Yeah. Like, but she was trying to talk to me in whatever speak that she was, and I was like, how? So I was thinking about it, and I was like, how much worse is this going to get? You know, like, between like if there's like so that's a 20-year gap basically between the Xers and the Zers, right?
Uh-huh.
Right.
And so if technology doubles in progress every year basically since technology has started, so then that means there'll be a gap between people of a generation between 10 years in the next 10 years and then 5, and then you can see where I'm going with this. uh,
Right.
it seems almost impossible that we'll all be speaking the same language by, I don't know, by 2040. I don't know. Have you guys thought about this? It just really blew my mind.
That
I have a thing with okay in general because my father, ever since I was young and I would do something embarrassing to him or try to crack a joke, he would say okay if he didn't get it. Like it's just been a thing, like an ongoing thing. Now it's transferred to text. So now anytime someone writes okay to anything, I get triggered. So it's like I haven't really thought about it that much. I know that I'm triggered by certain levels of okay, but that's interesting
They
because I
said
have had people say KK or K or, but I haven't really thought about it that much unless they say just okay,
I
period.
well, and that's another thing. Using periods. That you're not supposed
Yeah,
to use periods. You're supposed to use exclamation points. If you don't use or nothing, like,
or nothing.
yeah, and
Okay,
they
it's,
said
yeah,
it's fascinating that the same creatures who are able to comprehend and implement this technology that you can send and receive a message anywhere on the planet are the same stupid people having this conversation about okay with a period is and it just blows my mind. Like it really does. It like I don't because again like how I mean again there's all this generational stuff kind of rubs me the wrong way. I think it's business doublespeak bullshit, but it's gotten very popular. But like you what am I trying to say here? I don't know. I just
it's it's just
like
exhausting a little bit because I mean, like,
yes, and
yeah,
well, here's the thing. When I walked into like an early job, for example, did I expect the tools and the people I interacted with to get me? No, I adapted to what the hell they were doing because you had to. Like you didn't like if you enter a workforce with older people, you accommodate
yes,
that. No, you can introduce slowly and you can develop and you can slowly introduce stuff, but this attitude of you're going to, you're going to adjust to me, and if you send me an okay, like what the fuck? Like again, it's all this. It really goes back to language. Like it really is just people are so, and I don't know, maybe like technology, the preciseness of language has mattered more. I guess that's possible, a possibility, just because that's how people interact more. People don't talk to each other as much, so the written, I don't know, maybe because that's the, maybe I don't, people don't write letters. Like I used to write people letters, like,
yeah,
I'd meet someone at camp or I was in
oh
love with somebody, I'd
right,
write them a letter. Do
right.
people do that shit anymore? I don't know.
But I've definitely been called out on Slack a couple times because apparently I write my messages as an email, like a short email to some people.
Right.
And then they'll write me back like a quick, okay, just got it, or not even that. And I'm like, hey, did I piss you off? Like, did I did? And they're like, no, it's literally Slack. It's a messaging
No,
service. Like,
exactly.
we're having a
It's a
conversation.
shortcoming of the
Right,
tool.
right.
Absolutely. Like I hated text messaging when it first came out because I would like, and I will still do this, and I'm still guilty of this. They'll send a message and like I'm just like, oh shit, it's been half an hour they haven't responded. It's like, oh, it's been an hour and they haven't responded. It's like,
Oh my God. I'm
I
the same
really, I
way. I'm
really, I
like,
really
I should
hope,
probably.
I really hope they're not dead, but But like, if it means they're ignoring me, and then
in a couple of
like, yeah,
hours.
right. Like, I mean, it's really changed. Like, that's a big change in communication
Yeah,
because
that's true.
it's made communication worse. Like, it
Yeah.
honestly has made it easier, but it's made it worse.
It seems like it's also
I
seemed. It's also seemed like I just didn't sense it. I think people are just getting. Well, I think people have always been sensitive, but now this is just another reason to get more sensitive faster. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
it's just like, you know, just like misusing a phrase or a period.
But
You
if
know,
we're gonna get pissed off about fucking emojis, we've gone too far. Like this is just
but I mean,
it's too
I don't know.
much.
I don't know that they're pissed off as much as they're worried or upset, and then that. Well, I think the term was, you know, that puts them on a spiral, you know, and then, you know, it's I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, everyone's always been as sensitive as they have been. You know, I think everyone's always been like,
Right, but there's such a heightened sensitivity now where it's like can you win even when
yeah.
you're fucking sending a Slack message and you want to like pump up the jam a little bit with a couple emojis and apparently they're the wrong ones?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys know I don't use emojis. I use like the semi the colon and the.
Yeah, Tyson's old school.
I'm
There's zero
super.
I do
emojis.
that. I do that. I do that in business emails. I am completely comfortable for whatever reason with using like the text smiley, the actual emoji. I'm like, nope,
Nope,
too
me
much,
neither.
too
No,
much. Yeah,
I don't because I'm a recruiter and a sourcer. So part of my reach out
you
methodology
got to
is
talk to
using
the kids.
emojis because some people, yeah,
You got
yeah,
exactly.
to talk to the
And
kids.
they respond really well to especially like seasonal emojis.
yeah.
So if it's like, hey, I just wanted to fall into your inbox, like I'll throw on the cheese and some leaves and they fucking love it. Sorry.
That's all
Yeah,
right.
no,
Secrets of the
I get
business,
it. No,
but
I
it
get it. Yeah,
works
I
like
get sure.
whatever works.
I
So
know.
unfortunately, I
You
get it
know
to a certain extent.
you have
Yeah.
to go where the yeah
You have to go where the language is, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah
yeah,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
is. It's you know,
It just sucks. It makes me feel kind of gross sometimes because I'm like, I remember fucking like writing letters on my dad's typewriter
yeah.
in his office at Fort Hays State University. Like, it's just so
Oh,
weird how things
absolutely.
have gotten.
Yes, absolutely. Like, there was no reason for me to really use an electric typewriter in my lifetime, but I know I did in high school because guess
Yeah.
what? That's what we had,
We had to
like when we
learn.
had typing
Yeah.
class,
Yeah.
right? Like, so, like we,
And
yeah,
I
so
Like
promptly
when
forgot it.
people don't use Homebro,
exactly.
I'm literally like, what kind of caveman are you? Where
Yeah,
the fuck did you come from?
yeah. That is
It's
interesting
so weird.
because you know people like at least we learned in typing class, and then I promptly forgot until I got my first computer when I went to Florida. You know, my first real computer that I used all the time, and then I basically had to relearn. But I had that basis for it on the home row, and it came back to me, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like to watch people, to watch people do the chopsticks,
Oh,
and
I
then
hate it.
and
I
then to watch
can't.
people that just have their own method, you know, that like they just never took a typing class in their life, but they just are like, wow.
I've seen a strikingly large amount of professionals, which I watched them type. I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, they don't
like,
care
but
about how many words a minute. They're not doing
right.
that
No,
shit.
they don't give a shit. They're
Yeah,
like,
No.
why did you do that? Yeah.
Right, right, and I think like keyboards for a lot of people, I think younger people's a secondary preferred input method. Like I think they'd much
Yeah.
rather
do it on
text
their
it
phone.
or
Yeah,
write it
They're much
out or
faster with
yeah.
their thumbs. Yeah.
yeah, which is crazy. I'm
It's
not
weird.
like I need
I'm
a
not either.
keyboard and I
I'm
need a
like,
mouse,
I try
right?
to do it with one thumb. It's like, I'll talk to you in 5 hours. Yeah.
Exactly
I
right.
remember. I remember when I moved to Florida, I had a pager, and it was my girlfriend at
You
the
had
time.
a pager? I always wanted a
Yeah, I had a
pager.
I still he
pager,
sold
I'm kind
drugs
of
in
bummed
Florida.
about
That's
that.
why
and
he
and my
sold a lot of
girlfriend had a
drugs.
pager, and a couple other people I knew had pagers, and we had all these weird codes that you would send each other that like meant things. Like 143 meant I love you because I had one letter, love had four letters, and you had three letters. And she would teach me all these things, and I was like, but it was so funny because that was like it was like I mean that's where texting started, right?
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah.
come all the way from that all the way up to fucking
Yeah.
eggplant emoji, so and I don't and I feel maybe it's my bad. I never ever use any emojis past that first page on Apple, like on my iPhone. If it's not a smiley face or a heart or blowing kisses. That's not happening.
Yeah, I got like 5 or 6 that I'll like
I've
maybe
got
on a rare occasion.
go-tos. I've got like
Yeah.
10 go-tos. That's it. I
Yeah.
try not to be clever with
I
like,
get all confused when it moves past my frequently used ones, and I have to like look through them all. I'm like, I don't know what
Yeah, I
5
don't
or
have
2
to.
uses now. No.
I did notice somebody that I thought was kind of funny, like like, and I've started doing this now. I just put if I pay somebody in Venmo, I just find the most random one I can pick, and I put that as the reason. Like dump, like the Swiss flag. What the fuck is
Sure.
that? I don't. Here's $100. Why Swiss flag? What does that mean? I don't know.
I kind of love that. I may adopt that in my own Venmos. Yeah.
I just take my thumb and I go wee to the left and
Yeah.
just stop
What
on
are we
one.
going to do this time? Yeah. This works. Yeah.
Okay. I think okay. I'm done. I'm 47. I get it.
That's pretty good. I'm almost 40, so here we go. Should we do some plugs?
We should.
Oh shit, we haven't even done plugs yet.
We should do some plugs.
You, the ice cream manufacturer. You, the frozen food distributor. And you, the food retailer. Stand today in the midst of a selling revolution. For today, you're in a merchandising era of self-service, where display and accessibility are the key to successful merchandising. Yes, today's problem is merchandising. To sell in high volume for high profits, frozen products are impulse items, and impulse buying is primarily an emotional decision.
So that show that I was trying to think of, the guy that wrote Gran Torino, it was called Let's Bowl.
Oh,
basically,
okay.
do you remember that show? It was like a combination between the People's Court and a bowling show.
Oh, that's
sounds
cool.
about right for early '90s comedy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, very much so.
And actually, you can find it. You can find a couple episodes on YouTube. If you want to have kind of a funny time, you can go. Basically, these two friends have a issue. Sometimes it's really stupid, and sometimes it looks like they actually give a shit about it. And then they bowl, and whoever wins the argument. And it's kind of funny.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. Anyway, so that's my first plug.
Like it.
So the last episode of the new 13th season of Mystery Science Theater 3000 came out yesterday. It's called The Christmas Dragon. It's a cheesy. It was done in 2014. You can find it at thegizmoplex.com, or just type in MSD3K new and Google it.
Sweet.
It's very interesting, but the best part about it, and it's only about 2 minutes long, so I don't know if it's worth your $15 to spend it on this. But there's a monk in the movie that kind of looks like Nick Nolte, and
amazing.
Well, there you go.
And Patton Oswalt does 2 minutes of Nick Nolte playing the monk from the movie, and his Nick Nolte is amazing, just straight up. He's like, he said something about like, because he's talking about Christmas movies, and he's like, these three wise men, I'd dump them into, Prince of Tides, and they couldn't hold their mud anymore, and it's like all this shit. I rewound it like 5 times.
God.
It's so funny. Anyway, so that's pretty good. And then this is really weird, but I was on the Spotify, and a list came up and it was like, best indie bands or best indie albums of the aughts or something like that. And there was one on there I didn't know. I mean, I know every of them, I know all of them, but there was this one called The Unicorns, Who Will Cut Our Hair When We're Gone. Have you ever heard of The Unicorns?
Yeah, there's a couple singles on that album that I think I've got playlisted.
It's pretty good. The album,
is it? What
is
it similar to? If you had to compare them to someone.
It is very unique. It's very indie. It has a lot of percussion, some early kind of keyboard work. The guitar is very staccato. The songs are all kind of goofy. There's a lot of songs about being a ghost or different kinds of ghosts, which I think is a reference to...
Yeah, I see there's a sea ghost, Tough Ghost. TUFF. That's cool.
Was it like I was born a unicorn? Was it, I was. Yeah, that's
shit.
it. Yeah, I was born.
Okay,
a unicorn.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's actually a fun little record.
The album art is really cool.
Yeah, and I just never heard it, and so I really liked it, and so I would just recommend it if you want to hear something really fun and sounds like it sounds like a happier, less synthy version of I would say of like mid to early God damn it, what are they called? The band from Tulsa. They did Love Bugs, Flaming Lips. So it's a little bit like that, but I didn't get bored listening to the Unicorn. So anyway, and that's
you got bored listening to the Flaming Lips. I'm a little pissed off about
their
that.
later stuff, like Yoshi.
Fair. Okay.
Jesus Christ, that's enough. Their early stuff, I'm in.
Early stuff is great. Yeah. For sure.
So anyway,
we're still friends. It's fine.
Those are my plugs. Next.
Hey.
Well done, Smith.
I got a couple.
Sweet.
The first was something that came out on the 14th. So I think this was also a Wednesday on Netflix. It was called Don't Pick Up the Phone.
Oh, shit. That's on my list.
All right. How was it? Really good. It was this story that I had not heard about. But not to give too much away, but basically, and it's one of those ones where I was kind of like, I understood the premise, but I was like, is it going to be interesting enough? Like, is it really going to hold? It is. So trust me there. It does hold your attention. It's actually very interesting. But basically what was happening is like from the mid 90s until the mid 2000s, about a 10-year period, there were these fast food restaurants that would get calls, and someone would call up the manager and basically pretend to be a police officer. And this is what I love about this. It's so fucking unbelievable, but it happened. They would call up the restaurant manager and say, I'm a police officer. There was a customer in your establishment that described a young woman that was about 5'5", brunette, that stole $50 out of her purse. And so they would have that woman come back, and the manager would say, well, you've got two options. Either I can come down and detain her, or you can strip search her over the phone while I monitor you, and that will call it good. So as long as you strip search her and tell me, and I instruct you what to do, and you follow my instructions, that's also your other alternative.
What?
A large amount of managers decided to go with option 2 and try to take this on themselves.
Whoa.
A shocking amount. So what's really interesting is what I found, because I love sort of stuff that's like very interesting from just a what the fuck. Like it was kind of like that. It kind of reminded me. It was sort of like that what the fuck level that the kidnapping case had when the mother and father just let their daughter go off, and the series is about everything. Just like you're just like
friend of the family.
Rational people. It's kind of like that, but it's like put yourself in the place of a 16-year-old girl in front of a person of authority who thinks they've got a cop on the phone. Anyway, I haven't given too much away. It's really worth checking out. Kind of a sad deal, but just kind of a weird thing that I'd never heard of before.
Was it happening all over the country, or was it just a certain people?
It actually was. Yeah, it was actually happening I don't remember what. I think it said like 38 states.
Wow.
So I won't give anything else away, but it was and some really.
Did they catch the bastard?
I'm not going to tell you.
There had to be many.
Potentially.
It's
3 parts. It's not long.
Dude, there was an indie movie that was based off of this. I'm trying to find it. My producers are a little bit slow about it. Yeah.
I'd love to know what that was.
Was it the Elk Lodge?
I'll find out.
The what?
Yes, that was called the Elk Lodge.
No, were they the people that were making the phone calls? The Elk Lodge.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
No, it's interesting. Not too long. I think each episode's like 45, 50 minutes. Anyway, check it out. It's been a while since there was a decent, like, kind of true crime Netflix. And I've always loved those. Always a big fan. So, and the second one I had was actually a relatively older film, which I'd never heard of, from 2013 called Prisoners. And this is
dude, I just watched that today for the second time. But it's been like
incredible.
A few years. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it is so good. So it's longer. I think it's about 2.5 hours. But it stars Jake Gyllenhaal. Who else? What are their handsome men up here in this movie? Hugh Jackman, Viola Davis. She's not a handsome man, but an attractive
handsome woman.
Terrence
Howard. She's a handsome woman.
Melissa Leo, and Paul Dano. Also a big Paul Dano.
Paul Dano, and that is fucking creepy.
And what can you say about this? It's a thriller. Just watch it. I'm not going to tell you, but
don't say anything about it.
It's like one of the most popular movies on Netflix right now. I completely missed this.
I did too, and I know I saw it before, but watching it today, I was like, "Holy shit, Paul Dano's in this!" As it develops, it comes back to you.
It's one of the best thrillers I've seen in years. It's really good. Again, a little long, but it got me. I was like, "Holy shit, this is really good." So I was like, "Yeah, you should watch it." That's good stuff. And that's I'm sure I probably watched.
That's so funny, Smith. If I can say something real quick, my mom last night was like, "Oh my God, Jess, have you watched this movie called Prisoners?" And I was like, "I think I have, but it's been a few years." She fucking watched it, and then she went down this rabbit hole of like, was it a true story? Who was involved? Like all this, literally all night last night.
Yeah.
This morning, she's like, just watch it. I'm tired. And so then this afternoon, I watched it and I was like, God damn, that is a really good thriller. Jackman in that is fucking scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
He does a great job.
Kind of like messes with your head, like who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Like it's
big time.
Really, you really just kind of completely missed it the first time around. So check it out. It's on Netflix. It's probably in your, you'll want it to go back to your recently watched, but it'll probably go back to something else. And
probably fucking Netflix.
There. Yeah, because they can never figure that out, can they? Just like, no, I just want to go back to what I was watching. Nope. Or is lava. What should be watching? Yep.
All right. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
I'm surprised nobody had the White Lotus season 2 as their plug.
I haven't watched it yet. I meant to. I kind of want to watch the first season again. I know that's probably immaterial. You would recommend it. Okay. Yeah, because I was a little fuzzy.
Jennifer Coolidge, you're gonna love it. That's all I have to say.
I didn't like her character in that movie. Her character, in that show in the first season. I think we watched the first 4 episodes.
But you have to watch her character in the first season to appreciate what she does in the second.
Okay,
and I'll stand by that.
I was like, man, I don't really, because I wanted to like her, and then I was like, oh my God, this woman's kind of terrible. But
the last episode of the second season, she shines, and I know she's been getting a lot of internet buzz because of it, but she deserves all of it. She's so good in the second season, especially.
Oh, we're gonna watch it. I mean, we're gonna watch it.
And Aubrey Plaza is just such a weirdo, fucking maniac. So you gotta watch it for that too.
That was the other thing that we watched.
Emily
quite good. Yeah,
Emily the
criminal. Yeah,
How was that?
That was good. We enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
I gotta watch that. I have a couple plugs and an unplug, which you guys already know about my unplug. It's been a while, but I needed to say it on the podcast, apparently. There's a new doc on Netflix called Senior. Have you guys seen that?
It's on the list. Yeah.
Okay.
I know about
Definitely watch it. It's about the life and career of Robert Downey Sr., Robert Downey Jr.'s dad. Really interesting guy. He made very weird indie movies. Have you guys watched any of those by chance?
I have seen one of them, but I can't remember what it was called. But it was one of those Cinemageddon movies I found.
Okay,
it is right up your alley, especially you, Tyson.
Yeah.
Literally every little clip that they showed from one of his movies, I was like, the fact that he did that in that period of time is kind of revolutionary.
Yeah, that's how I knew who he was one of those Cinemageddon movies.
Fucking great. And the way that they do it, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's really about a father and son reconnecting through all of this shit that they've gone through together and separately. I thought it was beautiful, and it's all in black and white and really well done. I loved it. I got very emotional at the end, so bring Kleenex to that party. And then there's a comedy special on HBO Max.
What would be different about
this? I gotta liven it up now. And it's Atsuko's Akatsuka's The Intruder on HBO Max. She is fucking hilarious. Like, she's like Taiwanese and Japanese mix, and she's got very cool style. Hilarious. Like, she does this joke about white people and all of their different allergies that literally still has me cracking up. And I don't want to do it any injustice, but you guys have to watch it. I was laughing my ass off for an hour straight last night. It's very cool. She's very up and coming, super funny. Love her. And then my other plugs are happy 40th birthday to two of my friends from middle school, Megan Solomon, who has her birthday party tonight. I could not be there. Sorry, Megan. And then
happy birthday, Megan.
Happy birthday,
Megan. Glasgow, who Becky and I met at Felton Middle School doing country line dancing, and we both didn't want to do it. And we sat on the floor and refused to do it. And that's how we bonded. we are still very good friends to this day. So cheers to you both. And then my unplug is a Christmas song by Taco, who did Putting on the Ritz.
Yes.
And it's called It's Snowing in My Heart. And then in parentheses, Bad Santa. What the fuck? Like, I don't even... I sent it to you guys. You both listened to it. Tyson didn't think it was the same guy, which I get, because I thought the same thing. Yeah. It is him.
Yeah, we were driving at the time, and I played it unwisely in the car, and I was like, I think this is. I was like, yeah, that sounds like him. Like that kind of. I thought sounds like.
Didn't Taco do Putting on the Ritz? Isn't that
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exact.
He's fallen. He's fallen.
He is fallen.
That whole,
and he put out a whole new album, and it's all terrible. It's all trash. Yeah,
it's
bad.
Yeah, and he's on new releases. If I put out a new record that's amazing, I'd be buried in the back of Spotify. That fucking asshole. Anyway, sorry. That was just sorry. I don't know where that came from. That was kind of pent up.
It's like, what did Taco do to you? Talk about it.
The Ritz, give me a goddamn break.
Did you have to dance to that at some point in life?
I'm sure.
Because I did. I did.
I'm sure there was a song to it. I mean, remember the video?
It's a great tap dancing song.
Yeah. Well, it was on Young Frankenstein too. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Best movie ever. One of them, I have to say. It's in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
There's a street in Kirksville, Missouri, and it's called Normal. And every fucking time I go there, I'm like, oh, it's Abby Normal Street. Every time. I love that.
There's a street in Kirksville, Missouri. Sounds like a book title. Just saying. There's a street. You need to write a novel.
That sounds like actually.
My mom is writing a book about her life, so maybe.
It's a good title.
Mom. There you go.
Street in Kirksville, Missouri.
Yeah.
I like it. I'd buy it.
I'd buy it.
An audiobook.
Yeah, probably. Same. Probably audio. Yeah. No time to read.
You know who's an amazing?
I know. Tyson with your fucking background of books.
I know we're running
the
late.
Library, the Van Dynes Library behind you.
You know that Bronson Pinchot is like an amazing audiobook like narrator. Like that's like his he does tons of
really.
Yeah. Balky does Audible now. And he's very good at it.
Balky
he's really good at it. Yeah.
He didn't really.
Jonas loves Balky.
Oh, well.
God. He just does. He brings him up a lot. I'm like, why?
How do you not? How do you not?
He was. I liked him in. I really actually preferred him in. Although I did love Balky as a kid, but I actually, in retrospect, I prefer him much more in Beverly Hills Cop than.
He was brilliant in First Wives Club. That's probably my favorite of him.
Balky's really the only sort of acceptable xenophobia anymore because he was like a white minority, so he was like sort of like a laughable guy from Russia,
Right?
So
yeah,
it's still socially acceptable to laugh at Balky because he's white dude.
He was from a made-up country. They didn't want to use Russia.
Balky for president.
Balky for president.
It's like
not
Boris,
to be confused with Yakov Smirnov, who
Yeah.
sort of had overlapping.
Boris. It's like Boris and
Sticks
Boris
for a
and
bit.
Natasha. Boris and Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle were from a made-up country because it was the Cold War and they didn't want to get into trouble. So,
All right.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
our fans need to
yes.
sleep. I need to sleep.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
This is our
late.
this is our latest time we've ever gone.
That is.
Wow.
We're almost
up late with Jabberjaw.
We have actually for the first time crossed, well, at least on my
In your time zone.
crossed days. So this is a Saturday, Sunday
Where's
sort of
Guinness
ordeal.
Book of World Records?
Apparently someone's basement auditing Chiefs memorabilia. No, that's really bad. So.
All right, guys.
All right,
Always
gang.
a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.